Hi, today I would like to talk to you about HTTP methods and REST API. So I have the following picture for you, where it says REST API in action. And this is then your REST API. Okay, again, imagine you are in a restaurant. You are the client in the restaurant. You would like to order some food, and you do that through the waiter. The waiter then talks to the kitchen, who prepares your meal based on specific criteria and gives you the food that you have ordered. Let's think of REST rules as a way a restaurant runs smoothly. So both you as the client, or you can say the app, and the kitchen, which is the server, right, knows what to do. Now, let's think of the client here. If you want to order something, you can choose what's on the menu items, the resources. So the restaurant has a menu with all the things you can order. There could be pasta or a pizza. Now, in REST, these are called resources. Things like pictures, data, or information you want from the server. If you want to get something from the server, you need to request it. And you do that through HTTP methods. You tell the waiter what you want. You can, for example, get something. You can say, "Can I get a pizza?" This is the most common rule. You're asking for something. You're asking to get some information. But you can also use the post request. And that way you give them some new information. For example, I want to add a new dish to the menu. You can choose for a put request. Put is actually updating something. Okay? So you could say, "Please change my pizza to a pasta." You change your order. You update it. And you can delete. So you can say, actually, I changed my mind. I want to cancel my order. Then, if we think of the stateless, this state transfer here, is that the waiter only remembers what you ordered for this one trip to the kitchen. Okay? Can I get a pizza? He goes to the kitchen. And he comes back. You can start a new conversation. That waiter is not very smart, okay? He does not remember past orders or conversations. Every time you ask, it's like you're starting fresh. This helps things move quickly and it avoids confusion. Now, then you also have to worry about the URL, okay? Everything you order needs to go to the right table. So the API uses URLs, web addresses, to know exactly where to deliver the information. Just like how the waiter knows what table you're at, so he knows where to deliver the food to. If you order something, he will say, "Okay, table 1 wants to get this." Then the table 1 would be your URL. And then we have the same format, okay? The representation. When the food or the information comes out of the kitchen, so from the server back to the client, it's always served in the same way so you can understand it. In REST, the data is sent in a specific format. So you can expect it to come back as a JSON format or an XML. Okay, so in Visual Studio Code, let's see if what we've just gone through makes sense about our RESTful APIs. I have created a folder called RESTful APIs, as you can see right here, and I've opened up the terminal, and I'm going to initiate my project and say yes. That means I have my package.json file. I'm going to install Express. There we go. And I'm going to install capital letter D, important, NodeMon as a dev dependency, so that I can start my server soon. I say dev as in NodeMon server.js, and this is going to be the name of my file. So I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it server.js. There. Okay. Now inside my server file, I need to import Express from Express. And now I need to initialize the Express app equals Express, like this. So this imports Express, and this here now initializes the Express app. And then we say app.use, and we say express.json. And what this does, it uses the middleware to parse JSON request. Oh, not arguments. App.use. Like so. We also have a port, and we're going to set that one to 3000, and then we say app.listen, so we can start the server, and it takes two arguments. First of all the port, and then an arrow function, like so. And in here we will just say console.log, and then we do with the backticks here, server is running on http://localhost, and then we say we pull in the port. There we go. Okay. Now let's see if everything is running. So we say npm run dev, and whatever. Okay, yes, I always make the same mistake, because in here I should say type. You can see it here. Here, type is module. There. So let me just kill this and do it again. Oh. There we go. Okay, I missed the comma. All running smoothly. Let's move on. Now let's have a look at, I don't know, we say books. Okay, let's work with books here. So every book will have an ID, one in this case, a title, and what should we think? Let me just get a few books here. Okay, I have a few. 1984. The author is George Orwell. And another one. No. with ID of 2. Then we can say the hobbits, and the author is J.R.R. Tolkien. There. Oh, this looks nicer. Yes. And I just need an equal sign there, and I don't need this one there. So, and what I want to do here is now I want to get all the books. So I can say app.get, and in here I can now say I want the books, and remember from last week the arrow function, and in here we have, as always, request and response, and in here goes the logic. So in this case I just want the JSON back from the books, like so. And you can see it has changed my words here. I want app.get. Okay, so what does this do? So we have it here. We have an array with 2 objects in there, 2 books, and in here so remember, this is like the table you're from. So books, and what I want to request is I want from the books the JSON. Okay, so give it to me. So what I've done here is I've opened up Insomnia. I have made a new GET request. I've entered our server address, remember, port 3000, HTTP, localhost 3000, books, and I press say send, and I get a 200 OK. The request has succeeded, and I've gotten the JSON data back. Wonderful. So the GET request works. Well, what about the POST request? Let's try that one out. So we go down here, and instead of app.get, we say app.post. And what we can do is we're going to say it's still going to books, and we still have the arrow function here. We still have the request and the response, like this. And in here, I'm going to say const new book equals, and in here I'm going to create this object. Remember, we have ID, title, and author. So I'm going to say ID, and what I do here is for books, for here, I have to say .length +1. Okay, so this gives me a unique ID every single time. So it's the length of the books, the length of the array, +1. Then we have title, and what we do is we're going to take the data from the request.body, and from there we take the title. So request.body.title, and we're also going to do the author, and that will be the same as the title. So from the request.body we will take the author. There, once we have this, we can push it into the array. So we say for this variable dot push, so we can add it to here, dot push, and then we push in the new object, so new book, there. And after that we want to get this here, response to JSON, and we would like to add a message to that, message book added successfully, comma, and then we want to say which one. So that is the new book. There we go. Okay, let's try this one out. So we open up Insomnia again. Here we go. This time I'm going to say here get all books there, and now I want a new one here, and this time it's going to be a post, and is going to go to the same address, 3000 there, and from the body here we're going to send some JSON, and I might enter this. See, it's an object, it has the title and it has the author, and now I should say send. Oh, it is an error. Let's have a look what it is. You can see here I have not specified here. It should go to books. I did not do books. Forward slash books. Still not good. Now you can see it is an S there. It should not be an S there. And now it works. See? Book added successfully. And it given me the new. See, it was 2 items first, and now it has item number 3. Great, so the post works as well. Okay, let's call this one here add new book. There we go. Okay, so now we have looked at getting all the books. We have been able to add a book to our array. And now let's update the book. So we say app.put was for updating. And we will exactly do the same here. Books only. Now it needs to know which book. So that's going to be based on the ID. And then we have the standard arrow function there with the request and the response. And in here now, I'm going to say const book ID equals, and what comes in, I want to make sure that this is an integer, so it needs to be converted into an integer, even though it already comes in as an integer perhaps. So we say params.id and now we're going to say const book equals books.find, and I'm going to say for each book that comes in, find the ID and check if it exists. Okay, if it does not exist, then do the following: return, then response, now actually return, so your response is a return, yeah, say a 404 error in the form of JSON here. You're gonna say book not found. Okay. Otherwise, we can say book.title equals request.body.title. Yes, option 7, or book.title, and book.author equals request.body.author or book.author, and then response.json, again a message, book updated successfully, and then we want to say which book. There we go. Okay, I see I've made a little mistake because this should say book ID there. Now this is a little bit tricky here. So first of all, in the HTTP address, the URL, I'm going to send in the ID of the book. Then I'm going to make sure that, because from the params here, this is coming from the URL, and I'm going to take the ID. So that's what, if I change this to IDD, then I would have to say IDD here, for example. Okay, and then I would have to say IDD there, and I have to say IDD. I think that's it. But anyways, this comes from there, and then the book here, from the books that I have, const book, from the books that I have, I'm going to see if I can find the book that has the same ID. If there is none, it means I don't have the books in my array, and I can say book not found. Otherwise, I'm going to update the title if it's specified in the body, or the author if it's specified in the body. Otherwise, I'm going to keep it. And I'll end up with a response, a JSON response, saying book updated successfully, and it's going to show me the updated information. Now, let's try this out in Insomnia as well. So I'm going to Insomnia. Here we go. I'm going to create a new request, which is going to say put, and I'm going to say HTTP local host 3000, and I'm going to take here number 1. I want to update this one, the one with ID number 1. So back to Insomnia, and I'm going to say books, remember, because it said books, yeah, books, and I'm going to specify which ID, and I want number 1. Okay, what I need to do is in the body, I need to say it's JSON, and I want to update it. So first, it's at 1984, George Orwell, and now I will say George Orwell updated. Okay, let's try this out. I'm getting a connection error. Oh, did I? Oh, I stopped my server. Okay. npm run dev. There. Let's try it again then. Send. Cannot put books 1. Let me have a look what it is. Okay, so the default is here actually, where all I should have here is another /. Okay, let's go back here, and we have the updated one here, and let's send it now. And we can see book updated successfully, and we have the updated details here. Okay, then we have the last one here where we want to delete something. app.delete, and we go back to books, and we want us to do the same as with the ID. So don't miss out on this / that I just did before. And we want the request.response arrow function there. And we create this new variable, book ID. I can actually copy it from over here for now. There, that's so far the same. Okay. What do we want to do? It's very similar as what we had here, except for find we're going to do filter. Okay. So we say books equals books dot filter. And we want to make sure that the on, book ID. I'm missing this here, book.id. There. Let me explain this in a second. I want to give a message here. Message. Book deleted successfully. There. So you can see here what happens here is I'm taking the ID and the books here, this one here, is now filtering. So it has all the books but I don't want the one that came in here. And then it deletes it. So then it says it's deleted. So we're going to delete number 1 here. Here we go. This one here. We can say update book by ID, and one more, and this one is then a delete HTTP localhost 3000 books, and we can say maybe number 2. I don't need anybody in here. Okay, so send. And why is it not doing this? What am I missing? Let's have a look. Okay, I see it's already a small mistake here, and it's always syntax, right? So there. Here we go again. I just missed the /forward there. Back into Insomnia and send. And now that book has been deleted, and that was with ID 2. So if I now get all of them, you can see I only have book 1 left. And if I want to add one here, let's see, add post one here. Okay, I want to add this one. Now this is ID 2, so we can have a look. Get all of them. Number 2, if I want to delete number 2, send. Now it's deleted. If I check again, it's gone. Brilliant. So the code works. What you could do, if you're a bit unclear about some of the syntax, is you can look up what this does separately, the filtering, what that does. You can have a look at the find and what that does, and maybe even want to look at request.body if you feel a little bit unsure about what that is. Don't worry if you are still a little bit confused, because we will use lots of this throughout the rest of the course, and I will give you an assignment related to this as well, so you can practice a little bit more. That's it for now. I will look another time also at how we document this using Swagger, but I'll leave that for now. I think it will be too much information. Feel free to rewatch this video, and I'll see you in the next video.